Hello dear students, good morning to all of you. As you know that we have discussed the first chapter in on the topic industries. It means if we were studying about the economic activities of the business or business activities, these business activities has been classified into two parts. First is industries and second is commerce. So in the previous class we have already discussed about the industries. Now today we will learn about the commerce. So dear students, first of all we should know about the meaning of the commerce. What is the meaning of the commerce? So actually commerce refers to all those activities which are concerned with the transfer of goods and services from the producer to consumer. It means it is a kind of link between producer and consumer. It tries to create a link, establishes a link between consumer and producer, because basically producers are producing the goods for consumers who are in the market. So whatever goods or services are going to be produced by the producer, these must be reached to the consumer, and the feedback of the consumer regarding the quality, regarding their choice and preferences, regarding the price of the product or the satisfaction level from the product must be reached to the producer too. So commerce is a link, or commerce is a path which perform all the activities to which perform all the activities which is related with the producer and consumers. So it embraces all those activities which are necessary for maintaining a free flow of goods and services, and these can be explained with the following functions of the commerce. First is removing the hindrance of person by making goods available to the consumer from the producer through trade. It means if the goods are going to be produced, if the goods are going to be produced by the producer, the hindrance of the person is going to be removed, because due to commerce it is going to be provided to the consumer, because goods are going to be produced for consumer. So hindrance of the person is going to be removed through the commerce. Next is hindrance of place. Through the transportation, commerce is removing the hindrance of place, because goods can be easily reached to the one person to other person, or from the production place to marketplace. Now the storage and warehouse activities removes the hindrance of the time by facilitating holding of stock of goods to be sold as and when required. Because if it is required, then again and again there is no need to go to the production place. A warehouse or the storage facility is providing or removing the hindrance of the time facility, because whenever it is required it can be easily available in the market. Now under the insurance function, it removes the hindrance of risk of loss or damages of goods due to theft, fire, or any kind of accident. So as we know that there are lots of risk involved in the business. So dear students, for removing the hindrance of the risk or loss of damage, insurance plays a vital role for providing a kind of safety or a kind of assurance that if the goods are going to be damaged, then the insurance companies are with them, so that they can recover their amount, they can recover their capital. Now the banking facilities nowadays, which is the part of the commerce, is removing the hindrance of finance by providing funds to the businessman for acquiring assets, purchasing raw material, and meeting other expenses. Like advertisement removes hindrance of information by informing consumer about the goods and services available in the market. So dear students, these were few basic points which is going to be performed by the commerce, because this is the commerce through which goods are going to be delivered from the production place to the consumer place with ease and comfort, and by removing different kinds of hindrance between the producer and consumer, or between the businessman to the consumer too. Now dear student, we will learn about the types of commerce. So basically commerce has been categorized in two types. First is trade and second is auxiliaries to trade. So dear students, first of all we will learn about the trade. So basically trade is to buying and selling of goods and services with objective of earning profit. It means it is just different from the industries. In the case of industries, goods are going to be produced, manufactured, services are going to be produced. It means production and procurement facilities are there. But in the case of trade, goods and services are not going to be manufactured. These are going to be purchased from others and sold to the others. To other person. So dear students, trade basically needs, or trade basically involved today in the market, because we can see there are so many shops, there are so many examples in the market of the trade. So trade is everywhere. Industries are in a limited area, industries are in a specific area, but trades are all everywhere. We cannot move anywhere without the trade, because this is the place only where goods and services can be available with ease and comfort. Now if we are classifying the trade, these can be classified into two types. First is national trade, or it is known as internal trade. It means the kind of trade which is taken place, or which is taking place within a country, that is known as internal trade. And this internal trade can be categorized into two parts. First is wholesale trade and second is retail trade. So dear students, if we are talking about India, if the selling and purchasing of the goods and services are done in the boundary line of the India, then it is known as internal trade. And in this trade, two types of trades are going to be taken place. First is wholesale trade and second is retail trade. Now if we are talking about wholesale trade, so wholesale trade means purchasing or selling the goods in a large quantity or in a bulk, where a wholesaler is going to purchase a large quantity of the goods from the producer and sells them to the other dealers or retailer in a bulk, but not in the same quantity as they are purchasing from the producer. Now the second kind of the trade is, that is retail trade. So retail trade, it is related to buying and selling of goods in a small quantity. It means basically retailer is going to buy the goods in bulk, but not in too much large quantity, but it is going to be sold to the consumer in a small quantity or in units. So retail trade or we can say that retailer is the person who is combining, who is joining, who is linking the product with the consumer, which is produced by the producer. This is the last link of the product between producer and consumer. Now second trade is, that is international trade. International trade, it is just beyond the national trade. As we have studied about the national trade, that is taking place within the boundary line of the country, but those trades which are taking place beyond the boundary line or out of the boundary line of the country, it means where two or more countries are going to be involved for buying and selling of goods, then it is known as international trade or external trade. Now these trades has been classified into three categories. First is import. If a country is going to purchase the goods from another country, then it is called import. And export, if the goods are going to be sold by one country to the another country, then it is called export. Now third is interport. Interport means one country is going to purchase some product from another country, and after few modification, few changes, this goods is going to be sold to other companies by the purchasing countries, by the purchasing countries, then it is known as interport for that country who is purchasing and selling the same goods after modification. For example, some goods from America and export, Indian firms may import some goods from America and export the services to Nepal. So these are basically example of the interport, in which if we are purchasing gold from America and we are going to convert it into the ornaments and something else, and after that we are going to sell it to the different part of the country, then it is known as interport. Now the second type of commerce. So dear students, this is trade is finished now. Now the commerce has two categories. First is trade and second is auxiliaries to trade. So now we will discuss about the auxiliaries to trade. So dear students, all those activities which helps in removing various hindrance which arises in connection with the production and the distribution of goods are called auxiliaries to trade. And regarding this, an overview of these activities is given below. So first is transportation and communication. Dear students, as we know that the production of the goods takes place at one place, where as there are demanded in the different part of the country. So dear students, the obstacle of the place is arising. It means the hindrance of place is there, which is going to be removed by the transportation facilities. Along with transport, communication is also an important services, because whenever any exchange is required, so information system must be established between the producer and consumer and trader, so that the exchange information can be easily available for all. So today the common communication services are postal services, telephone, fax, internet, etc. And through these communication services we are going to easily accept the order and provide the and get the information of the delivery of the goods, and if it is needed the exchange can be done. Now the next term is, that is banking and finance. This is removing the hindrance of the shortage of the fund or lack of finance for growth and development of the business. Now next is insurance. It provides a cover against the loss of goods in the process of transits, storage, theft, fire, and other natural and artificial calamities. Next is warehousing. Generally, it helps or it removes the hindrance of the time, availability of goods on time. So, if the goods are going to be stored at a proper place, these are going to help to remove the hindrance of the time. And next is, that is advertisement. So advertisement brings goods and services to the knowledge of prospective buyers. It means, dear students, if the buyers are not going to produce it, if the buyers are not going to know about the particular product, then it is quite impossible to create the demand. So dear students, and auxiliaries to trade plays a vital role in a smooth functioning of the commerce. It means promotion of the trade and industries. So commerce is basically too much important term for each and every business enterprise. Until or unless growth and development of the commerce, it is quite impossible to expect the growth and development of the business enterprise too. Now we will discuss about the business risk. So dear students, first of all, risk, as we know that in each and every business enterprise there are lots of risk. So today we will discuss about the business risk, its causes, its types. So basically, business risk refer to the possibility of inadequate profit or even losses due to uncertainties. As we know that in each and every business enterprise there are uncertainties, lots of uncertainties. So due to this uncertainties, we have to know about the, we have to be aware about the business risk, and if we are ready, we are aware to bear the risk, we will surely gain the income, or we will surely earn the profit. For example, demand for a particular product may be declined due to change in taste preferences of consumer or increase in competition, etc. So dear students, these are the types of business risk. Now the types of business risks are two. First is natural and second is artificial risk. So first of all, we will talk about the natural risk. Dear students, in the natural risk, business risks arises due to uncertainties like lack of knowledge of what is going to be happen in the future, create uncertainties in the business. It may be due to natural calamities, change in demand and prices, strikes, etc. Second, risk is an essential part of the every business. No business can avoid risk. Through the amount of risk may vary from business to business. Risk can be minimized but cannot be eliminated. Now third point is, degree of risk depends mainly upon the nature and size of business. Level of risk is low for a small scale while it is higher for large scale organization. So it depends on the scale of operation of the business. Risk is according to the operation, Risk is according to the level of operation of the business. Now fourth is profit is rewarded for the risk taking. A business gets profits as a return for undertaking risk. Greater the risk involved in the business, higher is the chance of profit. So dear students, these were the nature of the risk. Now we will study about the causes of the risk. So first is natural cause. It means human beings have little control over the natural calamities like flood, earthquake, famine, etc. They results in heavy losses of life, property, and income in business. So these risks are basically arises due to nature. Next is human causes. Human causes include such unexpected events like dishonesty, carelessness, or negligence of employees, strikes, riots, management inefficiency, etc. Now, the electronic causes, they are related to a chance of loss due to change in market condition. Example, fluctuation in the demand and price, competition, changes in technologies, etc. And fourth is physical cause. Physical cause means mechanical defect or failure may also leads to the loss. Example, bursting of boiler or machines may cause the death or destruction. And last is other causes. It includes unforeseen events like political disturbance, fluctuation in exchange rates, or inflationary or deflationary situations, etc. So dear students, basically these were the few causes of the business risk. Now after studying all these terms, we have to learn about the basic factors which are going to affect the selection of the business. That how we are going to select the business, whether we have to start industries, we have to start trade, or we have to indulge in auxiliaries to trade. So first is it is required that scale or size of business. Second is choice of form of business organization. Third is location of business enterprise. Location of business enterprise. Third is location of business enterprise. Fourth is financial requirement. Fifth is physical facilities. Sixth is plant layout. Seventh is competent and committed workforce. Eighth is tax planning, and ninth is setting up the enterprise. So dear students, these are few basic points which are going to affect the selection of the business enterprise. So you have to again and again read it carefully so that you can understand it in better way. And since we have already discussed it, So I think there should not be any kind of problem. So dear students, now I think you have got the first chapter. Thank you.